now we're pleased to bring you our feature presentation.
I'm in the life sciences niche, which is basically servicing public biotech firms. So to give you a little bit of information about Withum, this is kind of like just some general information about how many people work at the firm. So 2,700, but the firm is growing a lot. So they actually acquired 2 other firms this year already. And then the revenue is 606 million. And we have a presence all around the world. So we actually have an India office, as well as we also have a map of all the offices in New Jersey that we'll show you in a second.
Right. And as you can see, we're growing with our CPAs. Like that's another big thing in our practice is getting that CPA license. So it's growing every year, 840. And right here we have somebody that passed all 4 parts. So congratulations.
Okay, yeah, so like I was saying before, there are quite a bit of offices in the United States. We actually have 5 offices in New Jersey, and then New York, Florida, which is really nice because if you wanted to transfer offices or anything, you could easily kind of, if you have a niche in a particular office, like you have a lot of options of where you could go to. And yeah, we're actually just expanding a lot. The Chicago office was actually acquired earlier this year. So definitely there's going to be more offices popping up in other states in the near future.
Yeah, recently over the last month, well, we acquired, I think they were called Friedman Mac. They were in Buffalo, and then this past year we also acquired in Houston. So, and the firm has really grown. It was mainly just in New Jersey, but now you can see that they're expanding all throughout the nation. So this is kind of like our Withum way, we call it. So our focuses are with the team members, our community, and our clients. Our core values are basically what you see in the middle. Our purpose is to have growth and success for our clients and our communities because that's what we prioritize. We value integrity. That's another one of our values. We have a vision in innovation with entrepreneurs and a lot of teams working in to make successful growth for our company.
Yeah, and we'll talk about it later, but the community is really big. The whole week of Thanksgiving before that break starts, we actually do community service. So we'll kind of get into like our experiences of doing that. That's a really big part of Withum, which is nice because you don't see that at every company. Yeah, and I would say just the environment is really nice. Like everyone is super helpful. Everyone's there to support each other. So that's another great perk of working out with them.
Right, and I don't think I mentioned this before, but I'm in the non-for-profit audit niche. So for us, community is very big. I know one of my team leads, he's always working on the Community Food Bank of New Jersey, where he's giving out, we're donating food to, you know, low income serving families. So for us, community is a very big thing in the non-for-profit niche, and it's a good thing to like see it firsthand, like how we're helping these other communities. So now we're going to talk a little bit of like the industry and expertise and kind of the services that we provide.
So this chart here is just what the firm is made up of in terms of niches. So as you can see, the biggest niche is financial services and investments. And as far as I know, I think basically they have a presence in every office. It's definitely one of the bigger groups. Industrial and consumer products. They kind of work on manufacturing companies. But even the groups that are like at the bottom that are a little bit smaller, like I'm in the life sciences niche, we're definitely growing a lot. You can see kind of also too just what niches the firm has to offer, which is nice because you can find something that works for everybody. And every group is different. I actually, for the first year I was at Withum, Brittany and I actually both like rotated different niches to kind of see what we liked. And we could talk from experience that every group is definitely different, and what you work on, you know, different people are gonna have different preferences for the types of clients and just the work itself. So there's so many options of what you could go into.
Is life sciences pharmaceuticals?
Yeah, so it's pharmaceuticals, biotech companies, like everything in that realm.
So this is our service breakdown. As you can see, A&A is audit and assurance. That takes up a lot of our revenue, so it's 44%. Tax is also like tied with audit. It's 41%, and we have a growing practice in advisory and then the FPS, which is
Yeah.
cybersecurity, I believe.
Yeah. And advisory is also growing as well, so that's getting a little bit bigger, but tax and audit are definitely the two biggest service lines that you could go into. Okay, so here is just kind of a list, like in terms of audit and tax of kind of the things that you could go into. Again, just a lot of options in terms of like the clients that Withum services. So SPACs are kind of like financial services. SEC clients, compliance and reporting is also under financial services and life sciences as well. We do have a whole ERISA team, which audits employee benefit plans. Yes, you can see there's quite a bit here. And even with tax, you can definitely go into a lot of different areas here as well.
Right, and tax has their overall, like, there's individuals, you can be more focused in like SALT, which is state and local taxes, or you can focus on research and development, credit taxes. But there's a lot that goes into tax services.
Yeah, it's interesting too, because I know for R&D tax credit, it's a very like niche area, but you can work in different groups, just helping them out in this one particular area, which is nice as well. So this slide is more about our advisory services. It is a smaller percentage of what makes up the firm, but there is actually a lot of really cool stuff that they do. Like the risk advisory, because now since everything is digital, you kind of have to look at risks associated with the fact that there are a lot of things that are subject to, cybersecurity risks. So they deal with a lot of stuff like that. Transaction advisory, yeah, a lot of this is technology related. We do have a lot of healthcare advisory services, management consulting, and then outsourced accounting services, which is probably the biggest area of advisory services. So that would be kind of the bookkeeping side of helping a client.
There's just more with investment, wealth advisory, and then insurance. These are things that we don't really touch on, so. Now inclusion and impact. So Withum is very big on our TMRGs, which are team member resource groups. Basically, we want to have a very welcome and inclusive community here at Withum. So they have these groups where you can identify yourself or align your values with. There's Aspire for Asian Pacific Islanders. There's Withum Black for the Black, Latino, African American. There's Withum Disability, Withum Ola, Withum Pride, Withum Veterans, the WOW, Women of Withum, and Withum Parent Networks. And you can be involved with these groups, and they will have events or even fundraisers that you can attend to. And it's a really good thing to like be a part of, especially when you want to get to know everybody throughout the firm. So some events will take you out of the state for a conference, and you'll be sent with other Withum team members, which is very nice because, you get a break in work, but also you get to network with other individuals in the practice.
Yeah, and for Women of Withum, we did an event recently where we made these boards. They just had people come to the office and we got to paint. And it was just nice to have kind of a stress relief after the workday. And it's just a really good way to network because you can kind of communicate and talk with people or have events with people that are in different offices and different niches that you would normally never see or talk to. So that's another benefit of being part of one of these groups.
Yeah, so we touched a little bit on this, Women of Withum. We're actually part of this group. They hold events like the Pain and Sip was just one event that we did, but there's another one in November. I think it's like a Women's Thanksgiving where everyone just brings in something and we just have like a potluck in the office. But there's a bunch of events that these TRMRGs sponsor throughout the year. And it's really nice because then we have a group that we have a group of women that we are comfortable talking to at all different levels. So it's a great thing to be a part of. Our community impact.
Yeah, so this is probably one of my favorite things about working at Withum. is just their commitment to serving people in the community. So like I mentioned earlier, the week of Thanksgiving and even the week before, you can just sign up for a bunch of community service events. And since it's around the holidays, a lot of it is, soup kitchens, food pantries, things like that. So I did two. I did one in Newark, that was at a food bank, which was really nice because everyone brought in something they made and then we prepared it and then gave it out. And then the second one was a similar event, and it was the day before Thanksgiving, and it was really nice because you got to, give meals to people that normally wouldn't have a meal on Thanksgiving, and they got to have that. So it's just really great that Withum is committed to serving communities.
Right, and they have events that can be in person or it can be something virtual. Like I know I was able to make goodie bags for children in poverty and then also make cards for veterans overseas. Well, like I said, being a part of not-for-profit, you really do see what the client is doing, what their purpose is and their mission and how you can help. And it really builds like a strong client, professional bond. And now we're going to talk about a little bit of careers that we have at Withum. So I know at your level as students, this is probably the path you want to take and look at. We have the summer internships, they run like 6 weeks. They used to be 2 different sessions, but now they decided to condense it into one. So it runs from, I think, after Memorial Day weekend and then runs until like the first week of August. There's something called the verification internship where it's primarily on sophomores that are not really sure about accounting, but want to get their toes wet a little bit with accounting and see what it's like. So that's that internship. And then we have our tax season internship, which is running through traditionally the busy season, which is January to April. And then we also have our entry level staff accountants, which is called Empower.
And is that fall and spring semesters? The last?
Well, the entry levels for those that are graduating with their 120 or 150, whatever credits you are obtaining.
Yeah,
But
it's November after
yeah.
you graduate. So it'd be for anyone graduating in the spring or August.
The internships are just more for students that are still in school. So they get some experience and then some opportunities at the company.
Okay, so we're gonna talk about some incentives at the company. So bonuses, recruitment and referral rewards. So if you refer someone to the company and then they end up working there, you can get a little bonus for that. Technology reimbursement, which is nice because we have a hybrid work schedule. So we're in usually 3 days in the office, 2 days from home. So they'll give you money so you can kind of set up your own home office, which is nice because for me, I did not have a home office at all. So I got like a standing desk because I hate sitting all day. Client fee participation plan, tuition reimbursement, student loan grants. When it comes to the CPA, the company will pay for everything. So they pay for all of your study materials. This is if you sign like a full-time offer with them after you graduate. They'll pay for your study materials, which they're really expensive. I think they're like a couple $1,000s. And then they pay for your first attempt at every section of the exam. And then any other fee associated. So I think like when you apply to sit for the exam, it's $90. Basically anything you would pay to get your CPA, they will pay for. Shadow stock, which that's usually like when you're a little bit higher up in the company, I think you can participate in that. Career coaching and peer mentorship. So everyone has a career coach. So mine is someone that's in my niche, but you can also have a separate career coach, someone that's not in your niche. So you would have someone to talk to that's not like directly involved with your work. Team member resource groups. There's just always people to reach out to for help. And then also eventually you'll become a peer mentor to someone else, which is nice. And then work-life balance, so flex time and open time off. So our firm just moved to open time off. So now you don't have a set number of PTO days. You just have, it's essentially unlimited PTO. You kind of, you make sure you're hitting your hours and you're not taking PTO all the time, but you can just use days whenever you'd like. There's also childcare reimbursement, dress for your day policy. So, we wear jeans to the office. You can't really wear sneakers and things like that, but, you don't need to wear a suit to the office. Again, remote work plans, so usually most people are in 3 days, and then home from 2 days. Then there's the team member hardship relief fund, so this is something that you can choose to donate to, which would help, another person who works at Withum, you know, if they were to, like, if someone in their family were to pass away, they could help with, the cost of a funeral, just the other team members donating to help other people at the firm. And then there's the fitness incentive reimbursement, which I believe for this, they'll cover half the cost up to a certain amount for whether it be a gym membership, an Apple Watch, something like that. And, yeah, we just get, you know, the traditional holidays off, but again, with the unlimited PTO, it's nice because if you wanted, you know, like Christmas Eve off, you could take that full day off or the day before Thanksgiving.
And then this is the QR code in case you want to look at any possible internships or any entry-level jobs that you might be interested in.
Do you hire people only with accounting degrees, or do you also hire MBAs and finance majors?
So I know for verification, I think people technically have to be.
Right, verification, you don't have to be an accounting major.
Mhm.
For entry-level jobs, though, you
Yeah.
want to have some knowledge into accounting.
I think they do
Whether-
want accounting majors, yeah, for the other, internships and full-time jobs.
Does anyone have any like questions?
How long have you guys been working in the room?
1 year.
Yeah, we would say one year.
But you interned before.
Yes, so I've interned twice with Withum. My first one was obviously the tax winter internship. I was working on wealthy individual tax returns. And then my second year I came back and then I did low income, basically like people that can't afford to have their taxes done. So I was working with the gateway team, as we call it, for low income families and their tax returns.
But now you're in tax, not for profit?
I'm in audit, not for profit. Yeah, so I switched over.
You don't want to go into tax.
I did like tax, I think I like not-for-profit more, audit. So yeah, we were fortunate to be a part of a program where it allowed us to rotate within the company, so we can see tax, audit, and ultimately I decided audit.
I'm just curious though, the advisory services, you don't hire finance majors for that?
I'm aware of, we can find out more, but I think from what they told us, it's mainly just accounting majors they're looking for.
Okay.
So, I know I applied to Withum, but I know I applied to the audit test, but I was interested in applying to the advisory. Would you recommend like using a different resume format or just applying with the same credentials?
I would say applying with the same credentials is fine, just as long as like, you know, you're hitting whatever they want to see on a resume. I know, like, we both know somebody that's heavily a part of the recruiting side, so, you know, if you have any troubles with your application, like, we can talk to him, of course.
And then I have another question. So like aside from like just the basic, like skills that all firms look for, like being analytical, like attention to detail, having a good GPA, and then like, I guess, experience if you can, are there anything that you guys, that Withum specifically looks for aside from those things?
I would say like Excel. I mean, just as long as you kind of know like a decent amount, just because I know for me, I'm in Excel basically all day. So if you're pretty good with that, I think that would look good to them for sure if you can use Excel.
Yeah, Excel's a very big function at our job. Even on the tax side, when I was doing my internships with, you know, the individual tax returns, it was very big to like, you know, have those like, you know, hard skills in Excel.
Metra? I don't hear anyone over there. Are there any questions from Metra?
I think so. I think she's shaking her head.
No, sorry. I just need to mute like the cart back and forth, so it's taking me a little while. But no, we do not have any questions here.
Okay, thank you, David.
Yeah.
So why did you choose Withum as opposed to other places?
That's actually a great question. I interned Withum was my first internship, and then I interned in audit with Echo and Resnick. And then I did a internship with KPMG, and the thing that put Withum us apart from all the other firms was their work-life balance. I prioritize that a lot, especially with the whole CPA journey. That's something that I obviously want to obtain one day, so I felt like Withum prioritized that time a little bit more. You know how busy Big Fours can get during their busy seasons and all the client work. It's a lot. And Withum just really cared about their community, their employees, and also just my overall mental health when it came to studying for the CPA exams, because it's not easy. It's a challenge, but you know, we're able to do it and we're working through it, so it's fun.
Yeah, I would say, for me, my cousin actually interned at Withum in the Princeton office, I think when she was a sophomore or junior in college. And, she ended up going to EY just because she wanted to work at a Big Four for a little bit, but she, basically recommended the company to me and said, you know, it's such a great firm, it's the perfect size. And I always kind of wanted something a little bit more mid-size, because I do think you don't have to work quite as many hours as you would at a Big Four, but you're still seeing like really like high, like clients with a lot of money. You're still seeing like the experience that you would see at the Big Four in some ways. So I felt like I could get a similar experience without the environment of a Big Four, because I knew that just wasn't for me. I know some people, you know, like that type of environment, but I think with I just kind of knew would be an overall better fit. And actually, because we both went to Seton Hall, and one of our professors, he's actually the head of the accounting department at Seton Hall. He works part-time for Withum, so he was always recommending it as well.
Yeah, and it's so easy to get overlooked in these bigger companies. And one thing about Withum, everyone's like, "Oh, you're Mary," or "You're Brittany." Like they know who you are
Yeah.
just based off like Withum posts that they have on their LinkedIn or Instagram. Like, so it's so easy not to not get overlooked at this company. So
Yeah, and I think like for me in my group, when we work on audits, it's like 5 people, so we'll get into a Teams room and all work together. And I don't know if you could necessarily get that if you're working at the Big Four or another firm, and it's just kind of everybody together working on something. And you have open lines of communication, like even up to partner. Like I feel like I could walk into a partner's office and have a conversation, no issue.
When you work from, do you have what they call the hotel version? I mean, you don't have a cubicle or a work spot, you check in and get a different one every time you come in. Is that how they do it?
I know in the Whippany office, we're getting bigger, but I sit in the exact same spot.
Okay, so
Yeah.
But you do need to reserve, like there is like an app space app, and you just reserve that way. They do try to get like niches to sit together, but technically a seat like isn't your own, but a lot of people just end up sitting in the same desk every day.
Yeah.
Where are some unique skills at?
Hmm.
Just starting to play.
I think for me, communication,
Yeah.
like, I think that's like the most important thing. I try to update whoever I'm working with every single day with where I'm at, you know, with a list of things to do. And it sounds kind of easy, but I know, like, I feel like I never for another job had to communicate as much as I do for this one, like writing emails. I would say public speaking as well. You don't have to public speak, but like even now we're public speaking a little bit. It's kind of like, you don't think that you need to speak a lot when you're doing accounting, but I'm in meetings a lot during the day, so that's definitely a skill. I think overall, like Excel, I would just say like, yeah, technical accounting skills, because you do see it every day and you are working on it. So definitely those technical skills as well.
Right. I would say like, the soft skills communication is such a big thing. Over this past year, we've done multiple presentations. Like we even did, a holiday like speech in front of the whole firm, like partners to like staff level ones. It was a little intense for us because we were like, this is our first time doing it. But yeah, there's a lot of communication that goes by, even when you're working on a client, you might be asking them like, hey, like I see that you didn't give us back any bank statements or anything like that, like open items list. It's a lot of communication. And one day you guys are going to be planning, like an audit planning or tax planning. You're gonna have to talk to the clients with that. So I think communication, having that ability to like learn and absorb is really important as well. So yeah, I think you're pretty much set if you are able to learn and are willing to learn.
Yeah, go
Stay at the office.
I usually like check emails, Teams messages as soon as I get in. We have like a very, like, it can be slow software system, so I like load up everything, and while that's loading, I make coffee. I know that's like one thing I do every single day. Usually, I get to the office early, and like some of my team members are always in early, so like sometimes I'll go in and just like update them on what I plan on working for the day, how things are going, if I need to set up a meeting with them. And then I kind of just look at my calendar to see what Teams meetings I have, just to see if there's anything I need to prepare for them, things like that. And then I just kind of go through my to-do list from there.
All right, yeah, I would say the exact same thing. We kind of get in the office around the same time. Well, I get to the office around 8 a.m. because I just like to get a head start. I don't know. I'm just very weird like that. I like to get a head start, and then I usually leave around like 6 or something, just so I can like avoid traffic because the commute for me is pretty like far. But no, it's just a lot of like preparing myself in like 30 minutes because I make my coffee or my tea, or I go to the bathroom, I start making up like a list to do for the day, what I have to do, what's still like an open items. Yeah, and then just making sure I have my calls for today, and then just get to work, and then 6 o'clock hits, and then try to go home, or I'll stay in the office and try to study a little bit. So it varies day to day, really.
What are you taking music?
Next month. Yeah.
You good over here?
Yeah, it's my last one, so I've taken it once. No, I've taken it a few times now. But I know the material, it's just a matter of like getting those extra points. I'll be transparent, I got a 71 on it, so
Oh, that's tough.
yeah, so now it's just a retake in a few weeks, so
Which one?
FAR.
Which one you take first?
I took FAR first, actually. That was my first one. We actually both took it on the same day. It was
Yeah.
kind of a disaster because it's your first exam and you don't really know what to expect, how to really study, and you go through the motions of it, like studying, but are you really understanding the material? No. At least for me, I wasn't. So when I got to it, it wasn't my best performance. And then because it was like during the last quarter of 2024, and we had a long waiting period to find out the results, we both started studying for audit, and then we took audit in that meantime. So then after that, it just kind of just kept rolling with
Yeah.
like audit, and then reg, then TCP, and then now I'm left with FAR, so.
And it's, like, you don't expect it, like how bad it is, but the exam is 4 hours, and sitting in that room for 4 hours is awful. Like sometimes it can go by quickly, but I know for me, I'm like so mentally drained after the exam. So
Yeah.
taking that first one, I think it was good that we went together.
Yeah.
I recommend studying for like not 2 sections at the same time, but I'd say like 3 months on one section and then let's say 2 months on another section if you're not able to take like let's say FAR and audit, right? Like you like studying for FAR, but you can't take the exam yet until a couple months later, and then studying for audit. Well, yeah, just I don't know if that makes sense.
I feel like it's hard to switch,
Yeah.
like you're saying, like
So, like-
switch from one to the other before you take
Yeah.
the one you originally started studying for. It's hard because there's so much information that it's so easy to forget it. I feel like it would be hard to switch and then not
Mhm.
take it. At least that's what I think. I don't know if you think differently.
Yeah, I would say FAR and audit are probably the more tougher sections, as you can see, like they have a lower, like similar pass rates, it's in the 40s. Um, so I would say, especially the audit material, like that book is really thick and there's a lot of information that goes into audit. So I don't know if it's beneficial to do both.
I think maybe with like if you chose a discipline, because they used to have a section called BEC, which now they got rid of. Now you choose one of 3 disciplines. So TCP, which is the tax one, ISC, which is audit, and then BAR, which is the FAR discipline. And I know I started studying for reg, which is the tax section, and then the disciplines you can't take every single month of the year. There's only specific months that you can take it. And I was originally contemplating not taking it in July because I would have had to wait till September, which I ended up doing. But so I started studying for reg and then I was going to switch to TCP. I feel like that could work because it's the same like material kind of. Like not exactly the same, but at least there's overlap. But the other sections, I feel like it would be hard to do that for sure.
Right.
I know you mentioned that you were studying for it at first, but you were studying was possible. You didn't have- How have Withum studying possible?
Yeah, so the crazy thing is we were part of a program where we got to experience the different rotations. And then on top of that, we only worked 40 hours. So that includes even in busy season. So in busy season, we were only clocking 40 hours, then we would close our laptops and like you have to study. So for them to give us that opportunity to actually study, it was, we took advantage of it because we only had 1 year. And then now we finally started working full-time and right now I'm currently in busy season, so it's kind of like harder to study, but I still am studying. And so I think with Withum, they have a program where you can get involved with like 40 hours.
So is that standard for all new hires that it would be, you get a year of just 40 hours even during busy season?
No, that's a different program that came through our school and Withum. So yeah, that's how we got involved in that.
Yeah, it's like a separate program with like Seton Hall. But I think, even with like not being capped at 40 hours, like I feel like the firm's really supportive of you getting your CPA. So I know for me, like, even when I was studying, when I started full time, everyone was kind of like, oh, if you have an exam this week, go home at this time. Like, don't even worry about this stuff, like study, relax, get sleep before the exam. At least that was my experience with my team. Like everyone's just really supportive. And I don't know if like you can study when you're not working for some, it depends on the group maybe.
Yeah, there are obviously going to be like drier, slower periods. And in your first year, you will have a career coach who will basically focus, like try to build this CPA plan for you. And they will work with you to see like what's going to work best for you, to hold you accountable of like what you want to achieve within the year. So that's another great thing that Withum has.
Yeah, career coach for sure, because they were like, okay, we're gonna make a goal purely for the CPA, so you can get that. So, like if you're gonna start studying on this date, they're gonna do check-ins with you and say, how's studying going? Have you scheduled an exam? And it's really for your benefit because at the end of the day, you can only get up to supervisor at Withum, and I think most firms if you don't have your CPA. So it really like it's so hard sometimes to motivate yourself to study, but it's just for your future success, and it just opens up so many doors and opportunities for you in the future. And it only gets harder as you go up because obviously the more you go up, the more responsibility you're gonna have and the harder it's gonna be to study.
Any other?
Well, thank you very much.
We do have some,
Yeah, there is like some material we brought.
yeah, just some like items from Withum if anybody wanted to take some. And then also, I don't know if everyone got this QR code, but it's also on the Withum website. It's just, it takes you to their, the recruiting page, I think, with all the openings. And I know, I did talk to someone from recruiting and they said that for the Whippany office, which is the one that's really close to here, they're pretty full for their winter internships, but, the summer one is open. And then there are other offices, if you were looking into winter, that could potentially have openings for this, upcoming winter, yeah.
It's your, from the other side.
I think it's just like pen smears or like with them print and stuff, if anybody wants to keep them.
Oh, no, thank you very much. We like a three-way charger, I believe in. What are those?
They're like three-way chargers, they have the USB,
Wow.
Well,
You don't have all the kids that can get back.
I know currently they're probably quicker with winter, only because like that's coming up pretty soon. The summer one, I'm not too sure of what their timeline is for hiring and.
That might take a little
interview.
longer, just because
Yeah.
they're waiting for like more people to apply. But the winter one, they should get back to you pretty soon, like I would say in a week.
Yeah, the winter one is a much faster.